The irony is that we celebrate all the achievements of ancient civilizations and the sophistication of what they were able to achieve with antiquated technology. But the morphic resonance and what they all had in common we reject, which was a belief in God. So how did that happen? Well, we know when, we know where, and we know why it happened. God and religion were removed from the education curricula in the 1950s to facilitate the space race between two superpowers at the time, one of which was losing. The establishment of the institutions such as NIST and NASA held the mandate to get more persons into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths. And they recognized an obstacle in that religious-minded people at the time rejected the thought of going into space and saw it as unnatural and not as God intended. Publicly funded schools would get their funding on condition that the curricula had to change, and one of the results of that was the removal of religious teaching. The rise of liberal secularism in education and the sustained campaign for removal of religious beliefs and values in the education system comes at the expense of moral frameworks. We saw it emerge in the hippie movement just a decade or two later, and we're seeing it today with things like the transgender movement, and also with the prevalence of scientific materialism, limiting our understanding of things like consciousness, intentionality, and non-material or non-physical aspects of reality. This is a far cry from the premise of the open-minded inquiry and authentic skepticism that the scientific method enshrines. And instead of going back to its roots, science has made certain assumptions that has made it, in essence, a religion of its own. So, for example, belief in God is generally rejected because he's a non-physical being. We can't see him, we can't touch him, we can't hear him. So what explains the knowledge of the ancients? They had to have help. Where could that help have come from? Well, it's not God, because God doesn't exist, so it must have been aliens. And what we've done, in essence, is basically change the labels. Today we recognize that the symbiosis and the interconnectedness of all creatures on this earth point to intelligent design by an incredibly wise and very precise being. In fact, this world being the result of chance and emerging from chaos bears a probability of 1 in 10 to the power of 40,000. Logically, we have to reject the emerging from chaos theory. Allah tells us in the Quran, chapter 45, verse 3, "Verily in the heavens and the earth are signs for those who believe." Let us reflect on the signs that surround us. Let us learn from it. And through it, let's celebrate the greatness and splendor of our Creator. By doing this, we can hope to live the best life in this world and the next.